Good morning, agents, and welcome to another daily episode of Target Loot today for Saturday, December 12th. In this series, we cover a lot, from the Target Loot map to DZ exclusives you could farm for, highlights from the weekly vendor resets, built-in farming suggestions, and much more. I'm Shadow Gaming, and if you enjoy this video, consider pressing the subscribe and like buttons below, and remember, if you have any questions whatsoever, please post them in the comment section below. Otherwise, let's get this video started. Alright guys, so starting off in the DZs and of course the vendor reset highlights, which will always be in the bottom left overlay, I would highly recommend picking up first off the chain killer chest piece with perfect headhunter. Over here in the clan vendor, it's rolled with weapon damage, weapon handling, and headshot damage, which is just perfect for a headshot damage build. Next up, in the DZ West vendor, I would get that Harmony named DZ exclusive rifle with perfectly in sync on it. It's really good for skill builds. Just remember, I would probably roll that rate of fire off for 10% damage targets out of cover, and then of course that would be definitely worth using on your skill builds. And then of course for the normal targeted loot, in DZ West we have Eclipse Protocol, which I have a great fire damage build I'll put in the top right card now. 4 pieces of Eclipse Protocol, the Imperial Dynasty holster, and 1 piece of Golan gear. Now you can farm for this in the DZ, normally I wouldn't recommend it, but since this rolls with +1 skill tier, you're just looking for skill damage or status effects with it. Next up in DZ South we got Ongoing Directive. There is a good bleed damage build you can put together with this, but I just don't recommend farming the DZ loot because, it rolls with weapon damage, so there's a big gap in what you could get with the rolls. But over here in DZ East, Grupo Sombro is a targeted loot. You can farm for a Dark Zone exclusive. That's the Door Kicker's Knock chest piece with perfect spark on it. And I don't really ever use that chest piece, so I can't personally recommend it. But anyway, let's go check out now what we got on the north side. Alright guys, now we're over here on the north side, targeted loot highlights, and just remember that this week Grand Washington Hotel is invaded, so if you want to farm for Puck's blueprint to get that Nemesis to craft at the White House, this is the perfect week to do it. And remember, if you don't get it the first time, just go down here to mission settings and then go to toggle mission mode to put it back on invaded after you've completed it. Now back to the normal targeted loot, we do have knee pads at Camp White Oak. There's 2 knee pads you could farm for that are exotics, and of course that's the Ninja Bike Messenger knee pads and the Sawyer's knee pads. And then of course you got the Fox's pair knee pads with 8% damage targets out of cover, but what I would do is farm Overlord and the Potomac Event Center mission today for that one in particular. Next up, we got Badger Tough at Coney Island Ballpark. You can farm for the 0F's chest piece with perfect unbreakable. Now that, gets your armor back every 55 seconds that it breaks, and it's great on DPS hybrid builds. Next up, we got Strikers at Coney Island Amusement Park. 3 pieces for increased rate of fire and weapon handling. I use that on a Merciless build and really nothing else. And I also don't recommend using all 4 pieces. I think you can get more damage with an all high-end DPS build, so it's just not worth it. And really, that's all I recommend. You can get the 2 exotic chest pieces, the Tardigrade and the Ridgeway's Pride farming chest piece targeted loot. But of course, you need to complete the project for Ridgeway's Pride first, or, ask your teammates if they can drop it for you if they've completed already, and the Tardigrade you could just straight up farm for. Kinley College is open for another 2 days, and the Summit you pick your own targeted loot, so now let's go check out what we got on the west side. Alright agents, we're over here on the west side target loot highlights. Starting off with the gear sets, we got True Patriot at West End. I will put one of my favorite True Patriot builds in the top right card now. 4 pieces of True Patriot, the Memento backpack, and the Sokolov chest with Intimidate. That's definitely worth farming for and putting together. It's great for solo and in group, and you can clear, heroic content with it no problem really. Next up, we got Hardwired at West Potomac Park. Now, keep on the lookout for my skill build. I really wanted to put it out today, but I gotta push it until tomorrow, but it will overshadow the build I'm about to tell you right now. But if you, want to put it together in the meantime, you can mix 3 pieces of Hardwired, 2 pieces of Honey U, and 1 piece of Wyvernware with Kinetic, Momentum, or Glass Cannon on the chest piece, and the Force Multiplier backpack with perfect combined arms for a great turret and drone build, but I will be putting a better one out hopefully tomorrow. And lastly, we do have the new Rigger gear set, which once again, it's something I don't want to recommend just yet, but it's great for instant cooldowns and deployable skills. And I'll probably be putting a build video out soon with this set as well, because it's got actually a pretty good use for it, which is something I want to try some more out before I recommend it. Now on to normal targeted loot. One of the main highlights I want to mention today is at DCD we got LMGs, so anyone looking for those 2 exotics, the Bullet King and the Pestilence, today isn't a great day to get it. This is a super fast mission to run, just like Lincoln Memorial. You can clear it in definitely under 10 minutes, so that's going to be a pretty fast, easy mission to run. And then of course there's some named LMGs that are worth farming for. Really, I just prefer the Carnage with Perfect Sadist. And then of course the new Reliable with Perfectly Optimized is really great as well. Next up, we got Assault Rifles at Lincoln Memorial. Now there's 2 exotic ARs you can farm for in the Light Zone. Now that's the Chameleon with Adaptive Instincts and the new Capacitator with the Capacitacence or whatever talent, which is amazing for skill builds, and I cannot recommend it enough. Now you do need to get it from Summit 5 challenges first, and then it joins the general targeted loot pool, as I've already gotten 3 of these from AR targeted loot. And then of course there's some great named ARs, the Test Subject with Perfectly in Sync, the Mechanical Animal with Future Perfection, the Maniac named Military AKM, and the Burnout named FAMAS are really great named ARs to grab up. And then of course lastly, the best assault rifles you can get is the FAMAS, the Military AKM, the Carbine 7, the Police M4, and that new PDR is actually really great as well. And then the last couple I'll mention is Roosevelt Island. You got shotguns targeted loot. You can farm for the Scorpio and the Sweet Dreams exotic shotguns. Both of those are in the general loot pool. But of course the Scorpio you do need to get from season level 50 or 55 first before it joins the general loot pool. And then the best shotguns in the game would be the MOP with 10% armor on kill, the Custom Inmate 70, and the Marine Super 90 with close and personal rolled on them. And really, that's all I recommend. Keep in mind, Overlord for your Fox's pair of knee pads. You want to farm the brand, not the type. And then I guess I could mention real quick, you can get the Liquid Engineer with Perfectly Efficient from Bellstone Armory targeted loot. And the Liquid Engineer is not obtainable outside of the Dark Zone with the Perfect Bloodsucker talent. Alright, now let's go check out what we got on the east side. Alright agents, over here on the east side, targeted loot highlights, starting off with gear sets, we got Hunter's Fury at Judiciary Square. So this is a great build. I'll put in the top right card now. 4 pieces of Hunter's Fury, the Death Grip gloves, and the Memento backpack just shreds through content and gives you a ton of survivability. I highly recommend it. It's just really great with the Dark Winter and the MOP as well. Next up, we got Aces and Eights at Jefferson Trade Center. Great headshot damage gear set. Mix 3 pieces of Aces and Eights, 2 pieces of Araldo Holding, 1 being a backpack with Composure or Vigilance, and then of course the Chain Killer chest piece. Next up, we got Foundry Bulwark at Grand Washington Hotel. This is a great tank build for just tanking absurd amounts of damage, but otherwise I don't really recommend it. And of course, the chest and backpack are raid exclusive, just like Future Initiative, so keep that in mind as well. And for Future Initiative, this is a great healer gear set that I highly recommend, and if you don't have the chest or backpack from the Iron Horse raid, then I would put an Alp Summit chest piece and backpack on with Safeguard and Empathetic Resolve. Now onto the normal targeted loot, we do have Providence Defense at Air and Space Museum. You can farm for the Sacrifice with Perfect Glass Cannon, which is really good on DPS builds, but also you can put it on a skill build as well. Douglas and Harding over here at Jefferson Plaza, you can farm for the Punch Drunk Mask with 20% headshot damage baked into it, and that would be better for an all high-end build instead of the 3 pieces of Aces and Eights. And then of course you got masks at Southwest. There's 2 exotic masks you could farm for. That's the Coyotes Mask and the Vile Mask. And both of those are definitely worth farming for. Next up, we got holsters at Capitol Building Stronghold. There's 2 exotic holsters you can also farm for. That's the Imperial Dynasty holster and the Dodge City holster for DPS builds. And of course, the one named holster that drops outside the DZ is the Forge holster, which gives you 50% extra shield health, which is a whole extra skill tier worth of shield health. We got the new Empress set at Viewpoint Museum today. This is highly recommended. I would get a chest piece with skill damage, skill haste, and glass cannon on it. And you can also get the new battery pack with, I believe, Perfect Calculated, which is great for skill cooldowns. And then next up, we got rifle targeted loot at American History Museum. So there's 2 exotic rifles you can get, the Merciless and the Diamondback, both of which I don't really recommend. But what I do recommend is the name rifles that drop outside of the DZ, which is of course the Light Zone, and that's going to be the Surge with Perfect Spike and the Baker's Dozen with Perfect Lucky Shot. Then last up, I'll mention is submachine guns at District Union Arena. There's 3 exotic SMGs you can farm for, the Lady Death, the Chatterbox, and the Backfire as well. Now remember that the Dark Winter and the Apartment do not drop outside of the Dark Zone. You need to wait for SMG targeted loot. I did get a Dark Winter the other day in the Dark Zone. I got rewarded it actually without SMG targeted loot, so keep that in mind as well. And then of course there are a few named SMGs that do drop in the Light Zone that are worth it. That's the Safety Distance with Perfect Outsider and the Grudge with Perfect Vindictive. And that's about it that I'd recommend over in the east side. Now lastly, let's go check out New York City. Alright agents, lastly in New York City, target loot highlights. Starting off with gear sets, we do have Tip of the Spirit Battery Park. I really never recommend this. It increases specialization weapon damage and I just personally never use it. Next up we got Petrov at Pathway Park. Now you can farm for the Contractor's Gloves. That gives you 8% damage to armor, which is great on any LMG build or stacking damage to armor with Walker Harrison Co. And speaking of Walker Harrison Co., we do have it at Civic Center today, so you can farm for the Chain Killer chest piece with Perfect Headhunter, but I really recommend just grabbing it from the clan vendor this week. Then we got Hana Yu over here at Stranded Tanker. You can farm for that Force Multiplier backpack with Perfect Combined Arms. That is going to be one of the most highly sought after backpacks in this game since Title Update 12 dropped. And it gives you an extra 30% skill damage every 3 seconds you land a shot. Combined with the Capacitator and the Waveform, it is deadly. And then really, that's about it. I mean, you got gloves targeted at Liberty Island. You can farm for those BTSU gloves. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for New York City targeted loot. Alright agents, well that was the targeted loot for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe, like, and share if you enjoyed my content. If you'd like to become a member for exclusive perks and extra support, you can click the join button below. And thank you and shout out to all 5 of my members. I really appreciate the support, guys. And then lastly, of course, you can get Shadow Gaming merch in the pinned comment and video description below. You can support me on Alt Tech as well. All the links will be in the video description and pinned comment as well. Take care, agents, and be sure to stay tuned for more daily Division 2 content. This is Agent Shadow signing off. I will see you in the next video. Take care, agents.